Third Floor Views, a production of Chesapeake Family Life, where we talk about health, education, and living with kids. I'm your host, Laura Boycourt. Today, we're discussing small business and the holiday tradition of Midnight Madness. And joining us is Judy Buddensick, president of Francis Marketing Group and manager of Midnight Madness, and Melanie Murphy, owner of Annapolis Pottery. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you. Let's jump right in. First, I'd like to introduce Midnight Madness for viewers or listeners who might not be familiar with it. As far as I can tell, I believe it's the first two Thursdays of December and the third Thursday of December. Is that right, Judy?
Yes, the first 2 weeks, the stores will all be open until midnight, and on the third one, they all close at 11.
Wonderful, wonderful. So could you just give us a little bit of background about Midnight Madness, its history, what to expect, why it means so much to Annapolis?
I've been a part of it for over 20 years, and it existed before me. The main idea was there were so many shopping options that kept popping up over time. The malls grew everywhere, all kinds of retail centers. So there had to be a special reason to come back downtown, because sometimes a lot of the stores closed early on a regular weeknight. The options weren't there. And when things got crazy and some stores stayed open 24 hours a day, we really needed options. And so each year we've tried to evolve Midnight Madness and the 11th hour into something bigger and better. And the idea is everybody's open. So come on downtown. We have a lot of fun with the stores are all full of, everybody's got a little appetizer trays and such, so that when you go in, it's not even just a shopping experience. You're running into your neighbor or friends. So you're just having fun, and you happen to be shopping while you're at it. The music in between that's spaced out, everyone donates their time. That's the most amazing thing about this. All of us that work on it, all of the performers, they are not paid. They take time out of their schedule to come and do this because it's just fun, and it just puts that spirit back in the holidays. So you'll see groups this year, as we were talking earlier, some of the names that you're used to seeing play the Ram's Head or other bars or other venues. Some of those folks are coming out, like Doug Segree, Meg Murray, Michael Kay, Nate and Jim. They'll all be performing in different places. So we've always tried to invite school groups, because that brings mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and the whole family out. But it's also very cool to see folks that are out doing this for a living going, I'll give up the money and I'm going to come because it's Christmas and it's fun and let's just do it. So I get excited about it. I'm a Christmas
I can tell. And you mentioned the school groups. I used to be one of them when I went to high school there, performing and singing. We went from different restaurants and bars just around, and just the holiday spirit. But the family-friendly nature of it, which is something that I think really speaks to a lot of residents and just people in Maryland in general, because I would imagine lots of families come into Annapolis, for Midnight Madness, and it's for folks of all ages.
An interesting tidbit is, I don't know what's going to happen, but Mike Miller, the fabulous music teacher at Old Mill High School, who teaches that class all year long, the steel drum band. And then one of the highlights of their year is to come perform their concert downtown for Midnight Madness. He's retiring after this school year. I'm praying that his successor will continue to do this, because those kids are phenomenal.
Yeah, they're great.
It's definitely a family-friendly feeling down there, which I know everybody appreciates. And just as an aside, I know Chesapeake Family Life will be participating on one of the evenings. I think kids can come to. Yeah, for the first one, the 8th, I believe. They can make an ornament or a necklace out of shells. So another reason why the younger set should come on down. And I also think this year there's a new holiday market at City Dock, where a lot of local artisans from Annapolis and in the region will be down there with their locally made gifts, which is exciting. Anyhow, Annapolis Pottery, let's move on to Melanie. I know you're participating. I was hoping you could tell us just a little bit about your past participation, why you participate, why it's something that you look forward to doing.
So, I mean, we've been doing it, I think, as long as it's been around. The business has been here 53 years. So we've got a lot of experience with it. And I would say that really kind of the best part about it is, just seeing happy faces. People are having a great time. They are, as Judy said, they're seeing friends and neighbors, and it's a chance for us. I mean, we actually serve it as we do a open house. So we do a pretty significant menu every night. We do something different. We do cocktails. We serve up food. We do special recipes, and then we hand the recipes out because we're about entertaining. Everything that we have here. It's about food. It's about family. It's about fun. So it's our way of saying thank you to all of our customers as well. Is give them a little nosh and a drink. So it's great. I mean, there's a lot of work that we put into it. It's kind of a crazy run up to the first one, but after
I would
that,
imagine.
for us, it's just at that point, it's fun for us too. It's just talking to customers, finding the perfect gift for them. Gets a little crazy. I mean, the store it's hard to move in the store. But we also get bounce back from Midnight Madness. A lot of people, they come in, they do a little window shopping, so to say, and then they'll come back on the weekend or at a later date. So, it's not just the night of it. It also serves us well beyond that.
That's fantastic. And I would imagine a lot of it is, seeing old friends and then meeting some new ones, whether it's people's first time, to Midnight Madness. But you have your established customers as well who come back, repeat customers every year, which is
we have
exciting.
And it's interesting. We get a lot of new people every year. More than just the locals. We get a lot of new people. I will say, with this year, with the parking garage coming down, hopefully the locals and your listeners will still come out. There's a lot of parking options. The city is giving coupons out for free parking. There's free parking on the street. There's shuttle buses. And, we need that support.
Absolutely.
We need that support, particularly from locals. I mean, we'll get the tourists that come in, but it's really the locals who sustain us during the holiday season. And it's a big season for us. It's probably 30 to 40% of my sales.
So it's a substantial chunk.
Yeah, it's a substantial chunk. And I would imagine that for most retailers down here, it's the same. So, that's particularly important for locals and people to come and see us during the holiday season.
Okay. And while we're on the subject of just sustaining local businesses, I was wondering if we could pivot just briefly to small businesses. With e-commerce, especially in the past several years with COVID and everything, just the ease of going online, being able to to order from Amazon or other large retailers. There's a definite ease in that. But I guess what would both of you, either of you, say to people who may be thinking that way? What's the benefit of supporting those small businesses in person?
I think that's your neighbor you're helping. That's the person who's married to your kid's school teacher. That's the person who sits next to you in church or synagogue. It's not a huge corporation. Nothing against corporations, but this is what a lot of people have put their lifeblood into. So when you're buying something that you could buy online for the same exact price, most of the time it's not a giant difference. It's just a matter of leaving your house. So come out and have fun and actually help your neighbor. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you don't know where you're buying from or what you're doing, but when you walk in, somebody in that store, you're connected to that restaurant or any of these things. They're just, and it's community. We learned nothing during COVID. That's what we need, is to rely on each other for that community.
Sure.
And I think that the thing with shopping in the store, it's obviously, when you're online, it's a solitary experience, and humans need that connection, and it's different. People want experience. They need experience. And I think it also puts you in a better mood going out and, seeing things out there, seeing humanity. I think that it adds to your holiday spirit, and probably in ways that you just don't really even think about.
Yeah.
But
it's a good point.
it's that that charge you get from going in. And, I think back to when, I was a kid. I mean, there was no internet, and it was a big deal going out and doing the Christmas shopping and the fun and,
Right.
spending the time looking for that perfect gift. And I think the other thing that really makes the biggest difference is, and we see this with our website, we've got a website, and we get a lot of people calling us because they see the things and they're one dimensional. They can't really
Mhm.
see how it looks. And when they're trying to decide between multiple items, you're flipping back and forth between different pages. And, coming into the store, we've got salespeople here that really help walk you through the whole, pros and cons of each piece, or, why you like one piece better than the other.
Hmm.
And I think that interaction, it helps make your decision a little easier. I mean, I find when I do online shopping, it takes me so much longer
Mhm.
because
That's
there's
right.
almost, there's a lot of decision making, page flipping, websites, and I can't remember how many baskets I put things in. So, right.
Yeah.
And then the basket expires and you're like, oh God, where was that?
Yep. Yeah.
So it's that human touch. I mean, you cannot replace it with anything online, even low prices. There's no such thing as free shipping online.
Yep.
You pay for it. And, again, like Judy said, I mean, I think it's the idea that these are your friends, your neighbors. I think the statistic was 70 cents out of every dollar goes back into the community than when it's purchased through a small business.
Wow.
And that's big.
That's huge.
That's big.
It is huge. Okay. And then just back to small businesses post COVID. How are you doing at Annapolis Pottery? Have you seen sort of the COVID dip and things coming back to where they were before? I think I heard you're expanding.
So, look, we looked at COVID as an opportunity to make some changes. And I think a lot of businesses did that. It allowed us to think outside the box. It was terrible going through it, but I think we ended up coming out in a better situation. So for those who have been in the store, they know that we've always produced pottery. We're not a paint your own. I think a lot of people see pottery and they're like, oh, you're a paint your own place. But we actually we're a manufacturer and a retailer. And then we represent about 100 other artists from around the country, North America. And so what it allowed us to do was to actually move our production facilities off site. And I think I was telling you earlier that we coined the term telepot because now we have home studios and we love it. I mean, it has made all the difference for the mental sanity of the potters when they're trying to crank out about 10,000 pieces in a year. And it's allowed us to then take our studio and turn that into retail space. So, the thing that COVID did for us is it used to be very tight and we had things crammed into every nook and cranny. And now it's allowed us to spread that out so that it gives people a little more room. And it has been terrific. We've had a really positive response to it. There are people who are sad to see the production go, but next year we'll put together like a little video section where people can watch us doing the pottery, history of the store, and everything that they need to know about pottery or would have seen in the studio. So, for us, it has been positive. This year's been good for us, but
That's great.
And I would like to say that I think the one thing that we need to see more of is locals.
Local participation.
Is people coming down, and those are the people that sustain us year round. It's the tourists come and go, but it's the locals who they come multiple times, and they are the people that keep us in business. So we love to see them, and we love to hear the stories, and we have third generations coming into the store, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. I'm glad to hear things are going well. And I know every small business, Annapolis or otherwise, they're weathering things, in their own way, and things have been up and down, but it's great to hear that Annapolis Pottery at least has been able to sort of take take some of the side effects of COVID, of those realities of, you know, being remote, and sort of weave them into a new sort of small business reality that seems to work well. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, I think all businesses have a different story to tell.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, support everyone as much as you
Absolutely.
can, you know. And the one thing is, for people that have come downtown and realized, oh wait, there is parking. There's a way to park,
It's
and
the way to park.
there's, you know, okay, so
There are several.
the closest parking garage as a substitute to Hillman's is an 8-minute walk from our store.
Mhm.
You know, that would be similar going from the Sears store to Nordstrom's at the mall.
Right.
I think it sounds more daunting than it is.
Yeah.
Just bundle up, get your hot chocolate, and make it a enjoyable
along
part
the
of
way,
the
you get
evening.
to see a lot of interesting things. So it's not hard to do. I think a lot of it's that, you know, the game telephone when we were young. I'm dating myself here, is that you would say something to the person next to you, and by the time it got down to the end of the line, it was completely different than what it started as. And we'd all laugh, and it was hilarious. But that's what happens is, you know, somebody has a difficult time parking down here, and they tell 10 friends.
Right.
And by the time you get down there, it's like, there's no parking.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's not true. So,
Annapolitans and visitors to Annapolis know how to make it work, whether it's some
Mhm.
localized flooding
Exactly.
or some parking challenges. It can work.
yeah, don't be afraid.
No,
Don't be afraid.
not at all. Judy, any tips for people this year at Midnight Madness? Just things to keep in mind, especially maybe for those first timers who are new to it. Any things that you really would recommend them check out, or things to keep in mind as they go through?
It's funny you asked a question that is something I wanted to talk about.
Oh, good.
Hashtag Snowflake Alley. You've got to go there and take a picture and hashtag it. It is such, it was an old alley. Sean O'Neill, who was our president many years ago, woke up with a crazy dream and said, what do you think of this idea? And I said, let's hashtag it. And the first year it went up, it was viral on Facebook. It's a fabulous place to take a photo by yourself, with your furry friends, with your human friends. It's just a spectacular, it's just something magical about it. And then as you walk through it, you actually will come up upon Melanie's store right on the other side.
That's right. That's right.
And that was also something that was designed to make people walk beyond Main Street. And it really filters people through, and it's so much fun to see people line up to take a photo with that. And that will lead me into then, as I just mentioned, Sean, he sponsors it to this day. He pays us to do that. The folks at the Christmas Tree is also a great place for your photos, and the lovely people at South Annapolis Yacht Center have now picked up, have donated towards that. And our friends at Sheehy Lexus, Paul Rochelle, this is about 14 years going that he has paid. We don't have a budget for Christmas. Everything that we do is because of those donations. So I think that's another important thing to remember. You're helping a local business, but other businesses have actually been the ones to contribute to make that happen, which is really special, because they are all, their businesses may not even be right in the city, but they're all local. And this has been such an important event to them that they want to keep it up. So those are definitely some of your highlights for photo ops, but really every store you go into is going to be decorated. It's going to have deliciousness. So I find my friend hashtag Elfie, she floats around and she does make her way from store to store. So you'll see her in a lot of photos too. And she will be there with Santa lighting the tree this year.
Fantastic. And just before we close, if listeners and viewers would like to learn anything more about Midnight Madness or Annapolis Pottery, where can they find more information? Melanie?
So you can go to annapolispottery.com and, you know, we have information there with our hours and some of the product that you see in the store or on the web store is representative of what we carry. We don't have everything on there. I mean, I have thousands of pieces. And I'm not a huge web fan. Don't realize how much work it is. And on that website, we actually have a tab that has all of the parking information
Perfect.
so that, people can find what they need. Share the website and all those instructions for parking.
Mm.
Bring your friends. Make sure when you come down that you go beyond Main Street. You go over to State Circle, Maryland Avenue, City Dock. There's a store on Green Street, up on West Street, restaurants. I mean, there's a lot to choose from.
Fantastic. And Judy, what about Midnight Madness? Where can we find more information about that?
I would say follow Downtown Annapolis Partnership on Facebook or Instagram more so, because that's where we're always adding what's going on. Like, we'll have the final calendar of all the performers and their locations that'll be published there as well. So if there's someone that you're a favorite of, or someone in that school or church, you can come down and see when they're playing those nights.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much to Judy Buddensick and Melanie Murphy for being here with us today to chat all things Midnight Madness and small business. And thank you to all of our viewers and listeners as well. Make sure to visit ChesapeakeFamily.com for up-to-date local information on home, health, and living for today's Maryland parent. This episode will be archived on ChesapeakeFamily.com in video and podcast format. I'm Laura Boycourt with Chesapeake Family Life and Third Floor Views. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.